Well, hello everybody, and welcome to my special edition of Tarot for Our Times, my 36th anniversary of sobriety. Today, and I thought I was going to celebrate. At first, I thought I was going to celebrate by looking at substance abuse in the Trump campaign. But as I thought about how I felt that day 36 years ago when I decided to give up drinking, and boy, did I feel lousy, that I'm thinking the American people must be feeling that way about him with all the drama and everything. So I want to see if the cards agree with me. Well, first, before I get into all of that, I'm going to ask you to subscribe and like, and of course, this is for entertainment purposes only. So, and I will say that today this is brought to you by the Ten of Swords, because although my interpretations of the cards over the years that have evolved, this is the one that's been pretty constant as far as many categories. To me, this card is about hitting bottom. It's like you can't get any lower, but there is hope. The sun is shining through, but it means that it's just that, you've had it. And there's just sort of like a whole lot of sort of things with that. And I was also comparing to the many followers of him as kind of, they talk about them as cult, but I sort of look at them as, very similar to alcoholism, because there's all kinds of drama. There's, it's broken up families, it's broken up friendships. And I wouldn't, and it's actually had people lose their jobs, because you look at the January 6 rioters, and I think a lot of them, even if the FBI didn't think there was enough to, to really arrest them and charge them, that people got fired for being there and just being in that mob. So I was thinking of this, that his support is a lot like alcoholism. So at any rate, I got a strong feeling that with everything that's going on, I think people are really getting tired of him and want him to go away. Or I think maybe with some people who had voted for him in the past, even 2 times, may just be really tired of him, but they're kind of afraid to tell their peer group, families, town, whatever. So, and of course, this is for entertainment purposes only. But right now, channels like this are just flooded with predictions. And of course, there's some on some side saying it's Harris. The other side, it's saying it's Trump. It's a matter of how people interpret cards and charts and this sort of thing. The ones with the integrity are pretty honest, even though they say, I hate to say this, but these cards don't look good for this or that. So there are some, there are some that I really admire, but I do want to repeat that I think that something that Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot has said, from Australia, is she's saying, if you're a follower of him, this really is not the channel for you. That go somewhere else. Go somewhere else, because there are plenty of others where you would be more welcome. And I really do have to say is that I just don't feel that there's any being neutral and sort of trying to make both sides happy, because that's just not going to happen. So I will say the same thing. If you are a MAGA person supporting him, you will not like this channel. So at any rate, I don't want to make this too long. So because I've found that I actually, when I look through videos, well, a lot of the time I do kind of go for the shorter ones, but at any rate, so the question, I'm going to do one reading and I'm going to try to do a deep dive. I'm going to ask, Is the voting public hitting bottom like an alcoholic? And I'm just going to say, I'm going to ask that to the cards and see what they have to say. Okay, so I'm going to lower this thing here so we can see them. Okay, so where we are, and then of course it's the Ten of Swords, which is the focal point from another. I take it from a deck that I'm not going to be using in the reading. So then it's just to be a little different from the rest. Okay, so the Six of Cups in reverse is where people are at now. Where they are at now is that they're really tired of living in the past, of these past two elections. January 6th, all of his slithering around with the criminal trials, all of that sort of thing. It to me that this is a card generally upright about living in the past. To me, when I see it in reverse, it's like people. It just fits the mantra of the Harris campaign is we're not going back. That we have nice memories, but a lot of times the past is not that great at all. So what I'm going to do, see the energy crossing it is the Six of Pentacles. So it's kind of like the back and forth, the give and take. It's about it's also about being charitable. So what I'm going to say is that a good sign of this is, since this is about money, is that it's crossed with the energy. Is like you can have your polls, and don't get me started on them. But what this is telling me is that the donations that started happening so fast really tells a very, very big tale. And the donations, and it like, very smart with the same thing that Obama did. It's very much from the small donors like me, and having a few dollars a week. I mean, this woman has raised in just a few short months like $1 billion. And so I would say that people are speaking of their being tired of this with their pocketbooks, and they don't have to spend a lot of money. So you're going to see a little bit of the underlying thing with this other deck. Oh, here we go. Boy, I'm telling you, this Three of Cups has been coming up in these readings. This is like women. The women are getting together. They're not talking about them as much as they should be on the media. And so there's a lot of joyful female energy. Under this, they really, really, really want to put this all behind them. So we've got the Three of Cups, and we've got the Chariot in reverse. And okay, so here underlying this is that I think people are getting ready they want to celebrate. They're tired of all this stuff that's been bogged down in the Congress. See, the House of Representatives is kind of like the daily reminder of what MAGA is all about, which means let's go accuse a bunch of people and have hearings with some baseless stuff, and we won't get anything done. And the budget gets kicked down the road. So it's kind of like these guys are stuck in the mud here. So people are looking at that. And they're also sick of the lies, the lies, the lies. I would say this, as a Gemini, I would say that for Trump, I'd say the King of Swords in reverse and the King of Pentacles in reverse represent him. This is the big fat liar. The King of Pentacles in reverse is the financially corrupt guy. So I'm going to do a little bit in the past here. Oh, Okay, so this is kind of like this card in reverse, the Eight of Wands in reverse. It's all about it's all about the lack of motion and that sort of thing that people are really tired of. The lack of being just hearing the same old thing come out of his mouth, like deportations, Hannibal Lecter, all of this sort of thing. But now it's it's kind of getting intense with dragging people off to military tribunals and all this awful stuff. So the Three of Pentacles is about kind of like the plotting and bargaining, although it's very interesting in this deck. He doesn't have the I would say that the people that are the other two figures may be off camera, as we would say. And this is interesting because I'm seeing all these pentacles with the chains behind, and it's I would say that a lot of what's happening with the campaign on Trump is that whole thing of the money being chained up and all that kind of ridiculous things that people are doing, that he has sneakers and all this kind of crap that he's trying to sell. So it's kind of like this guy's trying to grasp onto it and maybe bargain with the public, but they're kind of running out of things to bargain with. So then we have, oh boy, good old friend, the devil. The devil's in reverse, which is representing his die-hard followers who are not going to change their mind. And it's interesting because it does come with this like dungeony thing with it. They are so chained to him. And I see in this spread that the devil in reverse is the devil on steroids. Really, really bad news. Although I would also say the devil in reverse has been losing. Would also say that people have been dropping off of supporting him, but the ones that are stayed, they're like hooked on him like an addiction. Funny thing that we should say that it's the addiction and the denial, and it's saying that the lower number, which I feel very strongly about, his supporters are really they're going to stick with him, that there aren't that many. And then we have here the magician, and that is talking about I'm going to say general public, even the undecideds are kind of saying he's up to, the magician in reverse is sort of like using the resources. The magic is not working anymore, and that people are seeing that, oh, he's doing the same old stuff, and it just isn't working. So, crowning the reading, we have the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. And this is kind of like the it's sort of like it is still about prosperity, but the bird in the gilded cage kind of thing. I'm going to say this, I feel very strongly in looking at this woman and the, and I do look at the illustrations too for the different decks. I would say this is the woman who is trapped in the family, who's trapped in her town, in her community, that she gives lip service to Trump. But when she gets out, and I suspect a lot of these ladies have already mailed in their ballots so they don't have to go through any drama on election day. But I'm going to say she's representing the vast unpolled of women who are still giving the lip service, but maybe when it comes to going to a rally, like, I'm sorry, dear, I have a headache, but they're not outwardly supporting Harris, although Liz Cheney said something very wise. I can't believe I'm saying that. Liz Cheney said something very wise, and that you don't have to tell anybody if it's safer for you to not tell anyone, and you need to keep your position secure you go vote. So I'm going to say this is part of it. She's kind of had it, but she's still kind of trapped in the security of her house. I don't know how long relationships could last that way, but she's doing what she needs to do to hold on to herself. But her one secret point of rebellion could be voting for Harris. And I think there's a lot more of these people out there than we know about. So, coming up a little bit in the future, we have the Hierophant in reverse. And to me, that represents Trump kind of going off the rails and being very unconventional in his whole thing. But I would also say, I'm going to put a clarifier and see if the people are buying this. Okay. Oh, interesting. We have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. I'm going to say that represents his daughter-in-law, the bad singer, his daughter-in-law who is mismanaging the funds pretty badly. I think there's going to be some looking into her. And they kind of like the siphoning off, which is part of this whole bit with the going unconventional and selling all that sneakers and others. God only knows what other stuff. Okay, so then we have the Ace of Wands, which is telling me that they think that they're very inspired and think this is a good idea. But I'm going to see if the next, and they're just not changing it. That's the whole thing. They just think all of this is wonderful. But let's see about the public in the following. Okay, this is interesting because somewhere we had the Chariot in reverse. That was representing the Congress. This is saying people are moving on. They're moving away from all of this stuff. They're moving on. So it's a really nice one too. We got the Chariot in reverse, which is saying that he may not be moving on, but people are moving on. And this is going to become more apparent in the closing weeks, what with the generals calling him a fascist and all this stuff about his love of Hitler coming out. More people are going to be kind of moving forward and really getting tired of this. So we have the Page of Swords, which I think represents, the young people, like Cassidy Hutchinson that worked in his last, administration that, not only left him, but this is the swords they communicated to the House of Representatives January 6th committee about what was going on, and that the powers that would consider them the spies or the treacherous person in the camp. This is telling me in the future, and since we're getting close, it's in the not too distant future that this page is, there are going to be more of them. I think there are more in there right now that are kind of getting disgusted. They were all thrilled, they got out of college and whatever and got involved with the campaign. But I think there are going to be some younger people that are going to be truly appalled by what they've seen in this campaign. And this is coming right with the Lara Trump stuff too, that there could be some bean spilling about that too, and also the Elon Musk. So I'm going to say there's some more Cassidy Hutchinsons, and I'm going to say are going to be some guys because this is male, but I think both men and women, but a young male. Okay, so we've got the Seven of Wands in reverse, and this is about the Trump campaign cannot defend itself against they just cannot defend themselves against this sort of thing. And I just turned off the TV a few minutes ago and saw someone on MSNBC saying that all of their court, there's still even time on early voting left, but that all of these court cases they're filing is fail, 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 which is saying this is a very important, we have to get out and vote. If you vote and make it too big to rig, they're going to have more of nothing than they have now. So coming up, the death card. Okay, this is an interesting one. Yeah, we see this is the death card. In this particular case, for entertainment purposes only, it doesn't actually represent somebody's going to die, although you never know. But no, actually what I'm saying that this is endings and beginnings. This is telling me that more people that we realize have left all of this stuff. They want to end this. They want to leave behind all of this this drama, and they're really ready to move on. I'm going to say it's going to be a lot of the young people that are voting, but I'm telling you a lot of boomers do too. So being one, I will have to say that they shouldn't assume that boomers are a monolith and they're just going to vote Trump, 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 Trump. I don't think so. But to me, the death card is one of the most spiritual cards in the death, because in order to, and this goes kind of with our friend here, the 10 of Swords, because sometimes I think we're at a point, in order for us to be reborn into the higher consciousness, I hear some of my colleagues talk about, there has to be death. And I think this card expresses it. So I'm going to say, in the energy right now, I'm going to say that people are really ready to move on. So I want to see the conscious thoughts of the voters. Okay, we've got the Queen of Swords in reverse, the female energy, which is kind of like the I would say this is the woman this is okay. This is okay. Thank you, guys. Okay, this represents the female, a female energy. I'd say collective women and mature women who are just fed up. They're fed up with the Dodd's decision. They're fed up with people bleeding out in emergency rooms because of that and what he's done. That when this is in reverse, she's really, 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 really angry. So I'm going to say they are getting out and they're expressing their anger by getting out and voting. And I'm feeling as though a lot of what this early voting about. She's kind of related to our 9 of Pentacles in reverse, because this is like she's quietly doing it, but this expresses the anger that she feels. So, so that's the conscious thoughts and the subconscious thoughts. We've got the Page of Pentacles, which is kind of like the wanting of a new, bringing the message of a new prosperity. People want to move on and have some hope that their prosperity and their health will improve, and that they just want to live peaceful, calm lives. This is interesting. The peacock in here represents, we're not ready to spread those wings, those beautiful tail feathers yet, but boy, he's getting warmed up, and we're really getting ready to do it. So then I'm going to look at the outcome here. The outcome is, okay. Outcome here is the Ace of Wands, which is being very, very inspired. I'm going to say that probably represents the energy that Kamala Harris has spurred on. It's almost like she lit that match and she didn't need any kindling. Boom, she put it right there in the logs, and they just went, woo. like that. It's just like I was amazed at how fast her energy just really caught on. Also, the choice of her running mate was completely, completely inspired. Okay, so we've got the Ace of Wands here, which is total inspiration. I think that there is more excitement around her, and if you've watched the different rallies, you can see that crossed with the energy of the Four of Swords, which is about, I think, while people are inspired, on the other hand, it's kind of like everybody needs a little bit of a rest and a break. And I will tell you that what I do is I watch movies, and not all day, but I feel like when the news gets to be too much, it's time to watch a movie. So I'm going to say that taking little breaks and getting recharged is very good. In fact, I understand when he put her down for that. I understand she took a little bit of a rest on Sunday. Very, very wise thing to do, because everybody's going to need all of their energy. So what this is saying, we're incredibly inspired, but time to take a deep breath and to take a little bit of a rest. So I want to get a concluding card for this, and the Sun. This is about, and then this is kind of interesting because you don't have the kid on the horse and that sort of thing. This is about, there's a lot of zodiac stuff in here. This is about the truth being illuminated on a lot of things, and kind of like the stars and the planets being in place. What I'm seeing with this is that if you think you've heard some truths coming out now, I think there will be more truths coming out about this campaign, and that I think it's going to be spurring more people on to vote and to move on to something newer. I know I'm coming very close to predicting, which I don't like to do, but I'm just saying this is what the energy is. The Sun is telling me that energy is going to be, it's definitely going to be increasing. So, so this is pretty exciting. And one thing I've said is that, and this kind of goes, a lot of this reading goes to what I'm saying, and a general thing is that whatever happens to him in a negative way with the voting public is not going to be that moment, that hot mic moment, if any of you have seen A Face in the Crowd moment, 1957, which kind of predicted all of this in a way, that it wouldn't come in one moment, but I have felt that it's going to be like little things after little things after little things that is just going to build up. It's just building up, building up, building up to that sort of thing. Because if he wasn't finished off by a couple things in 2016, there is no one thing. But I'm going to say, I'm feeling as though things are kind of building up to a crescendo right now. And I feel as though when people put everything together, that's where you get the Ace of Wands. And it's really important because, after, when people hit the bottom, like I remember that, even though it's a long time ago, like it was yesterday, the one thing is that the guy's head is turned towards the sun is coming up, and the night is clearing. So there is hope, and knowing that he can't get any lower than this. And that really does mark, because the tens are always about ending. So that really marks the end of the phase. Like, it ended my drinking. And I think that maybe for some it might end their Trump addiction. Not all, but I'm going to say that people that have been waffling are reaching a point where it's just going to all come crashing down. One thing is about the Social Security and, inflation with tariffs. I think they need to have some of that stuff to sink in. And I would say, as a final thing, is really limit your time on corporate media. I would say Midas touch has kind of brought me back to sanity a little bit, plus some other readers that are very, very good and very encouraging. So I would say that if you haven't voted yet, in Pennsylvania, you've got till Tuesday. Get out and do it, because maybe one drama you want to avoid is, like, I can't tell you what's going to happen at the polling places, but I felt like even with mine, which is like a really boring little blue collar, I don't think anything's going to happen, Democratic through and through. I just thought, I don't even want to take a chance on that. So if you can avoid whatever they have planned, for that, I would say really, to really do that. So I would say take care of yourselves and get out and vote. And if you can't do it until, until election day, but be sure to do it and make your plan. So with that, I'm going to wish you a very pleasant evening and take care of yourself.